Good morning, and we are in chapters 15 of Genesis, and we're going to get into it because we're going to read 2 chapters today. And after these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abraham in vision, saying, Fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. He's reminding Abraham where his blessings come from. And there is, again, and the helps here. Why did Abraham cut animals in two? As Abraham spoke with the Lord in vision, the Lord repeated his promises to bless Abraham with land and posterity. Even though Abraham believed the Lord, he desired a confirmation of God's promise to him about the land. God commanded Abraham to take various animals, cut them each in two, and set the pieces apart from each other. Later, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp, likely representing the Lord's presence, passed between those pieces. The account ends by stating, In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed I give this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river of Euphrates. In the Old Testament, the phrase to make a covenant comes from the Hebrew words karat beret, which can also be translated to cut a covenant. In ancient times, covenants would sometimes be made binding by killing and cutting an animal. An act of passing through the carcass was likely a symbol that the individual was willing to die if he broke the oath. Similarly, God's presence passing through the animals likely assured Abraham that the Lord would fulfill his promises. President Russell M. Nelson taught, When we enter a covenant with God, we have made a covenant with him who will always keep his word. So this chapter, that's what is about this chapter. So look, the Lord is already saying, I am thy shield, thy exceeding great reward. And Abraham said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is Eliezer of Damascus. I'm guessing this Eliezer of Damascus, which I don't know very much about. Maybe he had children, and it was like, why couldn't I have children like him? And Abraham said, Behold, to me thou hast not given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And that one born just means a son of my house. So it does seem like a son, or Eliezer might have had a son. And he's probably thinking, is that who the heir is? I mean, really think about it. He's living his life. Could you imagine living your life and going, well, I thought I was promised with these things. Why is it not happening? I know that early on in our marriage, we had a miscarriage before we had any children. And it was really hard on my wife, and it was hard on me. And it was like, well, we had promises in our blessings that we'd have children, and here we've lost our first child. How could this be, And now looking back and looking at our 5 children and seeing all that we've gone through and things, there is so much that we don't know about the Lord. And I think Abraham was probably Abram. I want to keep going to Abraham, but it's Abram at this time because he's not finished making a covenant with the Lord. And for him, it's not just a year or something or two. It was, over 80 years. 86 years by the end of this, we'll see, before he has a son. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he's going, okay. Well, I've been living in quite a while, and I haven't seen it, but I am going to trust you. He brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou wilt be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he's going, yeah, I'm getting old now. He's not distrusting the Lord at all, actually. In fact, it says here, and he believed in the Lord, and he counted it for him for righteousness. It'd be nice if they were a little bit easier on who is speaking when, and that's why I put red under anything that refers to the Lord, so that you know that it is he. And I hope I get them right. Sometimes I forget to even put it down, or sometimes I have to read in and go, is that the Lord speaking or not? And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it. He's reminding him, look, I've already done this, so just keep faith. He's reminding him. Abram is not doubting the Lord. What he's doing is doubting his own ability to do what the Lord wants him to do. But the Lord's saying, it's in my hands. I can do what I need to do. I've already done this for you, and we can do more. And he said, O Lord, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? He's reminding that, well, I've walked it, I've done these things, just like you've asked me to do, but how will I know? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer 3 years old, and a she-goat 3 years old, and a ram 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid the pieces one against another, but the birds divided he not. So he's making a covenant. Remember, that's what we just talked about at the beginning of this. We knew this was coming. There is a covenant here, and the Lord is saying, here, let's make a covenant. You know I won't break my covenant. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. So he's being diligent in this covenant, in making this covenant. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. Where have we heard that sort of talk before? Remember Joseph Smith in the Grove of Trees. A great darkness fell upon him. And he said, and now I put under gray, but this is one of those times when it would be nice to know who's speaking. I think it's the Lord, but I put it under gray. I meant to put it under yellow, just because I think it is the Lord speaking. But after that darkness comes this voice. Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. This does sound pretty dire and not very nice, so I wasn't sure if it's part of the darkness. But then we have these promises, which would be more what the Lord would say. And also, that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. So this is prophecy of the Exodus. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. So fourth generation, just looking in the footnotes, there's a note saying from 16 to 20 that 4 generations of Levi's descendants are named. They include Levi, Kohath, Amram, Moses, in the bondage in Egypt. So those are the things to note in that these are talking about the generations from Levi there. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, it was dark, beholding a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river of the Euphrates. Now, the river of Egypt, I have it underlined there, but it just names a river. I'm not that up on the rivers, but Arish and Northern Sinai is what they're talking about there. And then it goes the Canaanites, the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites, naming the people that are around there in that area. And maybe that's one reason why he's wondering, well, will I really get out of this? Because there's already these other people in there. It's understandable. So he gets this promise, but how's the promise going to be fulfilled? So here we're in chapter 16, and now Abraham's wife bare him no child, and we're just going to look here. And she had an Egyptian handmaid whose name was Hagar. Why did Sarah,